video tutorial concerns the application of one of Excel's add-ins called treeplan to construct a decision tree. What is a decision tree? What is its application in project management, specifically for project managers? We discussed these fine details of this particular methodology in your regular lecture. However, in this short video tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can apply uh, the specifics of alternate option and to select the best amongst them based upon either cost minimization or profit maximization. For that, we are using Excel add-in called by tree plan. And once you install it successfully, you will get this icon right here, which says the tree plan. In your regular lecture, I showed you how you can download the code. We used GitHub to get the download code. And then we moved on towards the options. And from the options, we clicked add-ins. And from the add-ins, we click go. And from go, you browse and then select that particular file and you execute and you get this option right here. Now, getting back to one of the cases to understand its application, it's basically a case corresponding to two options, amongst which a manager should choose one based upon the cost minimization. The specifics of this small case concerns a decision regarding either the upgradation of a software or uh, outsourcing that particular activity to third party. So upgradation has its own cost, and outsourcing got its own cost. Now, uh, while this particular activity, which either we need to decide about its upgradation or outsourcing, there is about 30% chance that this activity could become critical. So if this activity become critical, then we are concerned about its delay, the longest, the medium, and the shortest. It says right here that the data analysis team has provided information on both options, that is upgradation and outsourcing, as outlined in table below. That's the first option, upgradation of the software and outsourcing. And there are about three time frames ranging from the longest to the shortest, and its corresponding probability, and alongside that, the detail of the delays in days. Now, it also says that additionally, each day of delay would result in an extra cost of 2,000. The estimated cost of upgrading the software is 15,000, while outsourcing would cost 16,000. Which option should the project manager choose to minimize cost, and what is the estimated total cost associated with each option? Now, before proceeding towards the tree plan, we need to think about how we can implement this particular information. And for that, it's always a good idea to make a rough sketch of that. So there is a decision which a project manager should take and regarding either upgradation or software. So initially, we got two options. So the first option is I'll represent you with a for upgradation and third and three for the third party. Now, these are the two options. Now, if we go towards either the upgradation or the third party, so it would basically mean, and this information is provided right here, that there's a 30% chance that this particular activity could become critical. So after that, we got two events. One event is for this activity to become critical, and another event is that if the activity is non-critical. So if the probability of being critical is 30, so the chances of this activity being non-critical is about 70%. Now, if the activity is non-critical, we are not interested in delays. Since we talked about in one of your lecture about the total float and the free float corresponding to a non-critical activity. And we also got to know that for a critical activity, the total float and the free float are always zero. These are the activities which you can't delay anymore because they have a direct impact on the project completion time. Now, so this means that if this activity becomes critical, then we are interested in three time horizons, right? So first one is the longest delay, I'll call that LD, and then you got the medium delay, and then you got the shortest delay. So this being, if we take an upgradation option and it becomes critical, then we need to realize these three time frames. Now, same goes for the third party option. So if we go this way, then 30% chances are that this particular activity could become critical, and therefore we are interested in the three time horizon representing the delay, that is longest delay, medium delay, and in the shortest delay. So you see, we are roughly abstracting the information which is provided to us. Similarly, for this third-party activity to become critical, the chances are 70%, so we are not interested in delays. So we are supposed to come up with a certain kind of map, certain kind of a network. Now let's apply that in Excel. For that, you open Excel and you click on tree plan. So initially showed right here, we got two branches right here. These are the two options. So I'm going to click. So let's select central point. So maybe right here, and we'll select two branches. Now the first branch corresponds to, I'll just use abbreviations. So U is for abbreviation, and the third is used for the third party. So these are the two options at hand. Now, further, if we go along the upgradation, then we got further this activity categorized into either becoming critical or non-critical. So I'm going to click in front of here, right here, and I'm going to change it to events. So how many events are there? There are basically two events. So one event being this activity becoming critical, and another event is this activity becoming non-critical. Okay. So then further, if we follow that route, so if it's critical, then we need to realize the three time delays, right? So one is the longest, medium, and shortest. So I'm going to again click in front right here, the box appears. I'm going to change it to three branches. So these three branches would mean, this one would mean a longest delay, a medium delay, and the shortest delay. Now, we're supposed to do the same for the second option, which is a third-party option. So I'm going to click in front of here, and once the box appears, then I'm going to change it to events. So this being, if we go this way, the third-party option for this particular step of a project, then it could either become critical, the probability is about 30%, or it could become either non-critical, and the probability of which is a 70%. So if we go along the critical way, then this means we need to realize the three time horizons for delay. And once again, I'm going to click right here, the box appears, then change it to events. We got three events. And this one is the longest delay, this one is the medium delay, and this one is the shortest delay. Now, before moving any further, what we need to do is we need to create a short statement that could account for the cost of delay. So for that, first of all, I'm going to write here the upgradation option U. So for that, the first delay is the longest delay, and then you got the shortest delay, and then the medium delay, sorry, and then you got the shortest delay. After that, what's the cost of delay for each category per unit time, which is a single day? So it's about $2,000. So I'm going to write here 2,000. Now, how much delay are we talking about the upgradation option? So we know it's a 10, 5, and 2 for longest, medium, and shortest respectively. So that is a 10, and that one is 5, and this one is 2. Now, moving on. Now, about the total cost of delay for the first category, we are supposed to put equal to sign, multiply this 10 with 2,000. And since we are going to use this 2,000 time and again, then I'm going to fix it with F4 or F4 function key. And it's this F4 right here. I used function F key. Otherwise, if you are doing it on a laptop, you're supposed to hold Fn key, function key, and then click F4. If you're using a keyboard, then on keyboard, you can directly press F4. Now, once you do this, all you need to do is just drag it down. Once you drag it down, you got cost for all the categories of these time delay. So this is for the first one. Let me copy that, Control C and Control V. And now I'm just going to change it to third party. And I'm going to introduce these days now right here in this particular columns. And I'm going to write a 3, a 2, and a 1 for shortest delay. And here you go. So these are all the corresponding costs. Now let's fill up some of these cells in this particular tree diagram. So right here beneath that first decision, I'm going to write its cost. So how much the upgradation costs? Upgradation costs about $15,000, and the third party costs about 16,000. So I'm going to write 16,000 here. After that, we need to introduce the probability of this activity becoming critical. So right here, it says a 30% chance. So just above the second event, we are supposed to write 0.3. And then right here above the non-critical, so if the whole of the probability should be equal to 100%. So if 30% goes to the critical, so 0.7 goes to the non-critical. Once we do this, we are supposed to repeat the same thing right here. So for upgradation, 30% chances it will become a critical activity, and 70% chances are that it will not become critical. So here you go. Now, moving on towards the delays probability. So in the first one, in upgradation of the software, the longest delays probability is about 20%. So just above that, I need to change these values. So it's about 0.2 for the first delay category. For the medium, it's a 50%, so 0.5. And for the shortest delay, it's about 30%, 0.3. Now, make sure that the sum of all these probability values is equal to 1 or 100%. So as we were putting some values in these cells, the values were changing in the rest of the network, this decision tree network. Now, once we do this, so beneath this first event concerning time, you got this cell right here. So all you need to do is click right here, make it equal to, and take the longest delay, which is this value right here, and click on that and press enter. So this value is right there. So corresponding values change down and up that network. Now, moving on towards the medium delay, we'll do the same. So we'll put an equal to sign and we'll select this one right here. And similar for the shortest delay, which is equal to, and we'll click right here. So once we do it that way, then whole of this decision tree becomes dynamic. So if you change values here, then it will automatically start changing values right there. And you can sort of perform stress testing in terms of cost with different options. And you can experiment around the costs and delays. Now, similar thing we are supposed to repeat right here. So for this first category is about 20% for the longest delay. So I'm going to put 0.2 right here. Right here for the medium delay is a 0.5. That is a 0.5. And for the shortest delay, it's about 0.3. All right. So once again, make sure that the sum of these individual probabilities is equal to 1 or 100%. Once we do this, we're supposed to put the corresponding cost with each time horizon. So this one, it's equal to 6,000. Here, it's equal to 4,000 right here. And here, it's equal to 2,000 right there. Now, once we do this, there is one important option which usually we forget, and that is you're supposed to, if this whole case is about taking decision based upon cost minimization. So you make sure that it's a minimization algorithm we are talking about in this particular tree diagram. So you click on the option. So see right here, by default, it is a maximization function. So you are supposed to minimize that. Once you do this, you got your decision. Now, this value right here represents the total cost, and we always go for the cost that is lowest. So just trace this value. So if we trace this value, it's right here. That's the third party. So I'm going to highlight it. So this algorithm tells us to go for the third party instead of doing the upgradation. Why? Because right here, the cost is about 18,060, and right here, the cost is about 17,140. And that particularly shows us that how you can take a decision based upon either cost minimization or profit maximization between 2 or 3. Now, this network diagram is quite flexible. You can do the same thing with 3 option, 4 option, 5 option, the baseline method of which is just like this one. Now,